everyone, and welcome to the Piata Gold Podcast, where we talk about finances, wealth generation, and real estate investing. Today on the show, we have two guests. We have Nassim and Eliana Smith. Both are entrepreneurs and real estate investors from Israel. And they've decided to go ahead and get into the real estate game because they're both parents and they are looking to provide a better scenario for their children's future, as well as help other people in the process. And that's why they've chosen to go with investing in a co-living model. And this allows them to also present opportunities for other investors so that they can generate separate sources of income outside of their W-2 jobs. Thanks for showing up on the show today, you guys. How are you both doing?
Thank you for having us.
Definitely a pleasure. Well, I guess we'll just get right into it because I'm really curious. What was the thing that prompted you guys to decide to invest in real estate in America?
So for me, when I started, I always had this love for real estate. As I started, it was in Israel. I lived in Israel at this time. Now I'm living in New Jersey for the last 3 months. I started, it was just because something was called me to go and do that. During this time, I've been in the security services in Israel. It was a difficult job do, and then I needed to do the real estate during nights. It was okay because it was on US time anyway. After a few months that I started to learn and dive into this world, get my first son, then I realized the real purpose for all of this is to make myself time to be with him and my wife, and in the future more kids, hopefully. In order to do that, I couldn't stay in my W-2, not the way it was. And I needed that passive income.
Got it. No, it really resonates with me. I feel like as soon as my son was born, all of a sudden there's this hook that reached into my heart and pulled me forward. Like I didn't have ambition before that. Yeah. All of a sudden it sprouted into being. And so I totally resonate with the fact that it all made sense once he came into the world. Exactly. What about you, Eliana?
I started, I'd say, a year and a half ago, maybe 2, somewhere around there. I always had this dream to go out with my family on a world travel, take my kids to see the world and get to learn cultures while actually seeing them in their real space. And in order to do that, I figured I need to have some form of income that doesn't rely on a W-2 or I can do from afar. And while looking into that, I started learning about investments and trying to figure out what that is. And I've always loved real estate. It's something that, as I remember as a child, around wherever we would go to like see places, my dad would always point out buildings. He would always like look at this one, and then we'd read the history of this place or stuff like that. So it's always been something that's been interesting and intriguing to me. And when I started looking into investments, we invested with other people who were doing multifamily. And I was like, that's interesting. How can I do that? And how can I do that in the best way possible to help my family, to help other people on the way? That's kind of like goal, is to really create that option for my family and other families with kids to be able to go after their dreams and not have to think about the finances behind that. So that's where I started.
Yeah, admirable beginnings there. Good reasons to be able to go out and try to figure out how to do these things. And I think it's important to have that why, because if you don't have a strong purpose, well, then when things get hard, there's no real reason to continue trying. If it's just for money, well, there's easier ways to make money in some cases. And a W-2 is at least a steady paycheck. As long as you're working the hours, they pay you for doing that. But it also brings up the issue that you have to put in the time in order to generate the income. And the whole point of doing this investing, at least for me, was to try to disconnect my time from that income coming in. I don't know if it's been similar for you guys.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any major problems as you've been trying to start real estate investing in the American states? You're not citizens of the United States, are you?
No, we both, when we started, lived in Israel. Eliana is still living in Israel, not US citizens. A lot of problem with that. Eliana, would you like to elaborate?
First of all, yeah, I live in Israel. Niv just recently moved. I sound American, but I'm not. I grew up in a very English environment. That's why my English sounds very American, but I don't have citizenship. First of all, let's start with the just practical challenges. So trying to conduct business for me, because it's in the US, so time difference, it starts at 4 p.m. And as a mom of 4 kids, 4 p.m. is when all 4 kids are home, and it is time with the kids. So that's the first challenge. And having to find a way and figure out how to navigate time and make sure I get all the different things I want to get done while still not neglecting kid time, family time, which is the reason for doing what I'm doing. And the challenges we faced was also back when Niv was at his W-2, he had a very, very, it took a lot. So also trying to navigate our time, trying to work as a team. And then now a lot of challenges also that come into place with financing, because we don't have that credit stuff like us. So we have to use different implementations to make that an option. So we always have to think creatively and find those different resources to make that happen as we go. So that's like all the stuff that kind of right now. Niv, I'd love if you can like elaborate on that.
First of all, I don't know what Eliana is talking about. My English sounds American as well. Yeah, one of the challenges that I faced. I know English, I have good English, but not speaking it regularly. Not until I started with the real estate. And it was pretty tough in the beginning to reach out to agents and wholesalers and sellers and you name it. And it was really difficult because I was always afraid that they will say, okay, this guy doesn't know good English, so he's probably not professional. I'm not going to work with him or something like that. So it was a big challenge for me. Also at the beginning, when I started with real estate, I had a mentor, which I did his course about real estate. He taught me the beginning and the basics of real estate. And he was supposed to help me get my first deal. This was part of the mentorship. Eventually, he didn't help me. I lost too many deals because of it, because he took his time, he wasn't ready for it. And eventually, I found that he even stole one of my deals that I brought to him to ask him what does he think about it. Maybe I should go for it. And he said, no, I don't think it's a good deal. And I realized that he bought this deal. Point, I had two options. Let it go and say, okay, really in America is not for me. I'm too far away. I don't know anything there. To do something in Israel. Or the option was to get it in other way that I can do. And I started to get into bigger pockets and heard some podcasts and saw video and read books. And I decided that I can do it by myself and I can learn it all. That's what I did, and I got my first deal. And after that, I met Eliana, and together we've been keep learning this amazing world of real estate.
Well, I think it's important that you note, because there are people that are going to take advantage of what you're doing, and there's also going to be people who are going to help you.
Yeah.
But you're never going to know which ones are which if you're not taking action and trying to do things and interact with other people. And that was something that was really hard for me to understand for a very long time, because I struggled with even talking to people. And I feel like being part of real estate has really enabled me to start to make connections with other people, and it's really enriched my life. So it's been an amazing journey. And you two are an example of people that I've made connections with and been able to form friendships with, so that we can eventually do deals together and help each other out as we're trying to provide for our families and do these good things. I think it's really interesting that you noted that there is a credit score system in America. I was not even on my radar that that's not something available to other people in other countries. So it's you learn something new every day, and it makes sense now that I think about it. It's just not something I would have even thought about.
Yeah, it's been an interesting thing to navigate, because literally almost every other conversation you have with like different organizations, banks to utilities, they want your credit score, and I cannot show that. I don't have that. Neve's working on his now that he moved there, but I don't have one to show. I have one in Israel, but it's not something that we get information about. I can't pull it. Conversations are always like, I'm sorry, I know I've got a great credit score here in Israel just because I know I get good loans, but I can't provide the information. Like, I don't have that option. And then you have to find different ways to work around that. And that kind of led us to try to understand what other options are out there. And that's when we joined Sub 2. We found Pace Morby, we joined Sub 2. And in that, we also expanded a lot of our connections on a human resource as well, to just have those amazing people and that community around. So I'd say one of the ways we found you in a way, because that it kind of way through that into more communities and into more people's spaces. And it's been amazing just to have those connections and trying to figure out more options to get us moving forward in what we're trying to do. It's the best.
I like it. And it's cool because it's also kind of part of what you talked about, your dream being of traveling the world. You establish connections with other people in other places in the world. Well, then you have people that you know in places that when you go visit, you're able to interact with them and you're not just out there being a tourist. And then you get to take your kids at some point, right?
Yep.
So that's exciting.
I'm going to come for some amazing meetups one day with my kids.
Oh, I'm excited. Actually, it's going to be here in Dallas when we go to the Squad Up Summit. So if you're interested in going to the Squad Up Summit, if you're listening to this, it's a real estate meetup investing summit that we get to talk all things creative finance. And if you go to squadupsummit.com, you buy a ticket to be able to attend it. And we're going to be there. So if you want to meet us in person, go ahead and show up. We'll love to talk to you guys and have discussions, see how we can do business together. Well, cool. I know that you guys have recently locked in a contract for a deal. You want to tell me a little bit about that deal and how it's structured, what it looks like?
The deal that we closed on last Monday, almost a week ago. It's first property in Atlanta, Georgia. And it's going to be a co-living house, which is basically a single family home that we are building more rooms inside the home. And the house by room. We have tenants for each room. They have shared kitchen, shared bathrooms. Sometimes they do have shared living or a dining area. In the house, we have 7 bedrooms, so we're gonna have 7 tenants. And bathroom, it's supposed to be 2 weeks. It's small renovation because the house basically is in turnkey condition, but we need to add these bedrooms, bathroom. So we're gonna take 2 weeks for this. We already ordered all of the things from Amazon, which was exciting to furnish this house because we do need to bring it furnished. And we're exciting to get started. I mentioned before, one of our main goals in the real estate is to help others. And with co-living, this is one of the ways that we can help people to reach affordable living, basically, because they do not need to rent the whole house or something like that, and they can just rent the room, and we will bring them everything from utilities, internet, kitchen supplies, bed, TV, like that. So basically just need to bring their suitcase and they're ready to go.
I really like the model. It's one that I'm going to be implementing as I hire on my operations manager and in the process of doing interviews for that. And that's the kind of the property types that I'll be going after myself. So I imagine we'll probably be doing a similar deal in conjunction with one another at some point, just because we're going after the kind of the model. It's an exciting model because not only are you helping people with their affordability, but like you said, they don't have to take up a huge amount of space in order to reach that affordability. And I was familiar with this similar model when I was a college student in college, where I shared rooms with other people in the same unit, right? And so you don't have to be a student for the co-living model. You could be, say, someone working on your own. You need a place to stay, and you can pay for that. You have a padlock on your door, and then you have your own space, and it gives you a place to sleep and continue to work and be able to make your life better as you continue on. So it's a very cool model, and I'm excited to see how things go with it. But what do you think? What are your plans for the future? I know we're going to do the co-living model, but what exactly is it going to look like for Niv and Eliana going forward?
So I can say the first thing that for the real estate business that we are managing, one of the big things that we put in our goals is to help others. Recently had the opportunity, unfortunately for them, we had the opportunity to help other investors who got, I think I can call it scams by a mentor who allegedly took them under his wings and disappeared with their money and all of the knowledge. He's got it. They don't know what they need to do in real estate. Got stuck with a house which is not livable at all. They don't have a floor in the house and have a big lien for the real estate taxes for the last 3 years. They didn't know about it. They didn't know that they need to pay something like that. They thought that the mentor paid it and found out that they have almost $20,000 in liens. And they do not have the connections or any knowledge to manage these things and how to dispose this deal. So at the beginning, it came to us from friends, and at the beginning we thought that maybe we will purchase this house with finance and we will do the renovation and sell it. But we figured out it's not working for us, and we decided that no matter what, we're gonna help them get of this house. Last week they got under contract with a buyer with I think is a really good price for what they thought that they can get. And hopefully at the end of January they will sell the house, and we are facing this kind of stories almost every week, especially because we know a lot of people from Israel who are trying to invest in the United States market. And as Eliana mentioned at the beginning, we have a lot to learn because the real estate market in the United States is different than the Israeli one. And we heard a lot of stories about investors who try to get into this real estate world and got scammed or abandoned by their mentors. And we decided that we will try to help as many people as we can. So now we're facing other Israelis, and they are saying that they heard some horror stories about real estate market. So we're telling them, bring these people to us. Let us trying to help them. Most of the time, it will probably be in markets that we don't know, but we do have the connections now in this community of the growth core and the sub 2. It's the most valuable thing that we've got so far in the real estate, and we can try to use other people's knowledge as well to get fix these problems. And we will open soon enough, hopefully next week or maybe in 2 weeks. We're opening WhatsApp group, which is just be a way to communication with other who wants to invest in United States, but they don't know how, or maybe they do know how, but they are afraid because they don't have the knowledge to make the first steps. So we're gonna put them as many knowledge as we can so they can make their investments smarter and cautious.
And if they've got like anything they've got online they're looking to possibly invest in, but they're hesitant because they don't know how to check it, how to verify, then we are offering to like hopefully just help out understand if it's a good investment. Because as Niv said, and I would actually want to share something personal on my side, me and my husband, before I started learning, we invested with someone who is supposedly an entrepreneur. And it was a huge, big scam, which is worldwide, literally worldwide, and with someone who made a huge amount of scams going all over the place in the world. And it's in courts, but that taught me a huge lesson. It was at the beginning. It was literally when me and Niv started working together. A month into that's when I started getting the knowledge about this being a scam. It's still happening. You said back then he had a choice. I had a choice. It was either give it up and say, Niv, run the show. I put the money here, do your thing, give it back to me at one time, like when we're finished, I'll finish with this. Or say, okay, I just got an amazing lesson of how I want to interact with people who do business with me, and how much I want the human connection to be real and sincere, and so they know they're in good hands. Because it is the worst thing to wake up one day and understand that the money you put a lot of hard work and effort into earning has gone into hands that have done bad things with it or have done wrong things with it, and now you are not going to get it back in any way. So for both of us, that is like a big thing, and mostly because we're working from afar, and we see that happen more often than possibly when you live in the same area and you can just go and see the house or go and talk to the person physically. Here, people are doing it from far away, and they culturally don't know what's going on in the US always, but it also, there's a lot of learning curve when it comes down to the actual nitty-gritties of everything that goes into it. It's very different than navigating the market back home.
Well,
So
and also just the fact that you're doing it long distance, right? So yeah, I could see that. It's funny you guys mentioned scams in both of your experiences with that, because I was actually kind of terrified to join Gator and Sub 2 because I was worried that maybe it was a scam. And that's actually why I joined Gator first, because it was a lower cost of entry. And I was like, okay, I'm going to test the waters here with this one. And it turned out to be one of the best decisions I'd ever made. So it was kind of funny because I guess it's a smart way to work, though, because if you assume something is a scam from the get-go, then you're going to be more cautious. And then it turns out that it's not. Well, that's a good surprise to have, So, but it's cool. I like the fact that you're putting a real emphasis on being able to help other people that are looking to do the same thing that you're doing, especially since the whole point of this podcast is to help people who are in their W-2 learn the things that I'm doing, so that maybe they can kind of make a shortcut in their journey when they decide they want to become an entrepreneur and start their own business and learn how to do real estate investing. So I really resonate with the fact that that's
So
part of you guys.
for the future of our business, of course, we realize that co-living is necessary these days, and it will probably be more necessary in the future because they're going very high in the United States. And the youth today, they don't want to purchase their home in early age. They are waiting to be a little bit more adult. They are trying new places. So they are looking for this co-living. So of course, we will be there. We'll try to expand our portfolio of living as much as possible. And as we said at the beginning, we are in this game for the future, for our family, for the cash flow, for the appreciation in few years. And during this process, we are also looking to get other people with us, like you mentioned, who's got their W-2 job and they do not have the time to invest by themselves. So we are welcoming everyone who'd like to join and JV with us to be a partners on our deals. We will manage it end to end because we do want to help others achieve what we are looking for.
Well, if people want to reach out to you and be able to work with you, where can they connect with you guys?
So I can be out in Facebook and Instagram at NIVNISSIM, because I know it's not a usual name in United States. Eliana?
I'm on Instagram at Eliana Bendi. That's my Instagram hold. And on Facebook, Eliana Smith. And that's where you can find me most easily.
Okay. And I'll go ahead and link those for people in the YouTube description. If you guys want to look in the YouTube description, you'll be able to find links to those so that you can connect with both Niv and Eliana. Now, before we get off the episode here today, I just want to ask you guys, do you have any kind of recommendations for resources or maybe YouTube videos, podcasts, etc., for people that are just getting started that want to do the same thing that you're doing? And where would you direct those people?
Yeah, so for me, if you're at the beginning of the journey, go listen to the podcast of Buckets. It's called Real Estate Rookie. Have a lot of knowledge there and it's everything that you need at the beginning. If you already started with your journey, so of course join Sub2 community. This is the best community that can get all of the connections that you need and the knowledge that you need. Basically, our last 3 deals was just from Sub2. The wholesalers, the creative finance part, the renovations, it is all part of Sub2 community members. So this is what I think. Of course, if anyone needs help with their investments or deals that they've gotten to get into, feel free to reach out to us. We will be more than happy to help you to go through the deal, to do what we all think about it and how you can be more cautious. If you would like to go in this process, your first calculator because you don't have it yet, feel free to reach out to us. I'm a calculator guy. So you have like
Yes.
4 different calculators for every different type of deal, which make headache for people like Liana. But if you need one, feel free to reach out to me and I will give you this happily.
I'd like to add that if you're Israeli and you're looking to start off and you don't know much about what's going on, we are opening up a WhatsApp group. So follow us and see when that's going to happen and join in, because we're going to put up a lot of knowledge in there to help you through your journey. If you're debating on how to start, where to go, find us, talk to us. We will have a conversation with you. I'm better on the motivation side and thinking the process through. Niv will be there for all the numbers and all the different situations with calculation and all those we need to have. And we are more than happy to help anyone, even if you're not in Israel. Like, just reach out. We will do our best to do our best by you. And that's where we're at.
I'm grateful for you guys coming on the show today. A lot of value add here today, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys build together. It's going to be really cool. Yeah, help a lot of people.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you for having us.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely a pleasure. And I'd like to thank all the audience for tuning in today. I just wanted to mention one last thing. It was based on what Niv was talking about, that the houses in America are getting more expensive. As part of the reason I decided to try to learn how to do this was because I looked at the appreciation metrics from the last 30, 35 years from when I was born till now. And I realized that if those appreciation curves continue, my son will be looking at entry-level houses in our area for about $1 million.
Wow.
And I don't know how he would be able to manage to earn enough to do that with a typical job at W-2. And so unless I learn those skills in order to be able to pass them on to him, I don't know if he'll be able to become a homeowner. And so we're learning to do these things in order to help the next generation succeed. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Even if you're not thrilled about investing in real estate, find some kind of investment vehicle, learn about money, and teach your kids how to be successful financially. Teach financial literacy. And I just want to leave everyone with that today. This has been the Piata Gold Podcast, where we talk about finances, wealth generation, and real estate investing. Thank you so much for tuning in.